So, there we are. Little glitch there. So, um, I know that it is not October anymore, but I am still going to finish off our series on systems of abuse. And goodness, my hair's sticking out there. And this is the problem when you have short hair growing back in after chemo. It sticks out in all sorts of weird places. Now I understand my son's battle a little bit more than I used to. So, let's talk about today and what our topic is this time. This is about social abuse. Systems of abuse often, very often, have a social component where it is really challenging. There is a lot of isolation going on. Now, this is, I believe, number 9 in our series of all 13, and I did a bonus video using some of Psalm 82 Initiative's material on the 4 tools that every abuser uses. So, there's a whole bunch in the playlist. Definitely go check out the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Sarah McDougall if you want to see the whole playlist outside of Facebook. And check out the other ones as well. I'm going to finish these off today so that we are all good. So don't go anywhere. 6, do we have 6? Hold on. 6 ways. This is not a comprehensive list, but 6 ways that an abuser may harm your social life and social forms of abuse, and these fall on under the umbrella of domestic violence, especially when they are a systemic pattern and they are combined with other ways of perpetuating abuse, other factors around the domestic violence wheel or the systems of abuse wheel. Now, these are from my ebook called Systems of Abuse, and it is a guide to recognizing toxic relationships. The link for that is in the description. And if you're watching, please share this, post it, drop me a comment, tell me that you've shared it. So here we go. Wait a second. Where did I go? There we are. I lost my window. Don't mind me. This is your moment of comedy here. All right. So, 6 things that are related to social abuse. Number 1, for the purpose of controlling you or isolating you, someone who eavesdrops on your communication as an adult and invades your privacy by monitoring your phone or your email, your messages, or your texts. They want to do that because the driving motivation here is very important. They want to do that because they believe that it is their right to control or dominate or have power over limiting where you go and what you do and with whom. Now, I'm just going to throw out something to balance it there. If you are an abuse survivor and you have reason to believe that your spouse is involved in an addiction, is being unfaithful, and you are trying to find out whether or not this is true, you may have evidence cross your path. That does not make you an abuser. Just because you realize that there are unfaithful or adulterous texts or emails going on. But if one person is controlling and limiting and isolating the other person in the using social media to do so or communication to do so, that is an abusive pattern of behavior. Number 2, someone who is tracking your social media accounts, getting your passwords, making you hand over your passwords so that they can inspect what you're doing, or tracing everything, not because you have a history of being unfaithful or because they have reason to believe you're lying to them because of actual behaviors, but because they want to control and limit you. Now, this is where the motivation is really tricky, because you may notice that your husband's social media accounts have some bizarre things going on. You may notice that there are posts or interactions that imply unfaithful behavior or unsafe behaviors. When you are looking at those, if your motivation is safety seeking, that is not abuse. That is different. You're seeking safety not trying to control and limit what he does. If he is tracking you to keep tabs on you and controlling or limiting or dominating what you do because he feels that he has the right to do that, that is an abusive thing. So the driving motivating factor and where it fits in, either in safety seeking or in this other pattern of abusive behaviors, is very, very important, especially on these non-tangible things like social abuse. Here's another one. Someone who monitors, a sign of social abuse can be monitoring your mileage, always needing to know exactly where you went, for how long, with whom, who was there, what did you do, why did your mileage not match what you said, what order did you go to the stores in, making you track or write down everything, or exploiting family apps like Friend Finder or Find My iPhone or Life 360 or your Google Maps, and tracing all the things that you're doing so that they can control and monitor everywhere you go and everything you do. That's actually a form of cyber stalking and harassment. Now, that's not the same as all of our families on Life 360, so we can keep track of where our minors and our teenagers are, and we just support each other. I'm not saying that doing it itself, being on those apps, is an abusive thing. I'm saying using it to control and isolate and manipulate you is being, or intimidate you, is an abusive thing. Okay, number 4, social abuse, discouraging you from cultivating friendships or having healthy social interactions or having the same access to friends, family, activities, and so on that they do. Let's say they always make time to go out with the guys, or they have their friends, they go do things, they don't hold themselves to the same standard of communicating where they go and what they do to you as they hold you to for them. So they want to know everywhere you go, you never know where they go. That's a double standard, and it is not a sign of healthy interaction. So unless they're with you, if they're discouraging you from going places alone or doing things, if they're not with you or if they don't approve of it, that's a red flag. Number 5, someone who, even using spiritual reasons or I'm looking out for you and trying to protect you and rationalizing and justifying it, someone who dictates your freedom or your options for pursuing education, for pursuing employment, for pursuing self-improvement opportunities, someone who makes you ask permission. And I don't mean two spouses checking with each other like, hey babe, does this fit in our calendar this weekend? Do you mind if I go do da 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 da? Can we tag team on such and such? I'm not talking about healthy communication. I'm saying they make you get their permission and they have the freedom to say no simply because they want to, if they feel like it. That is an unhealthy level of control. Another aspect of social abuse is someone keeping you at home as much as possible, where you are maybe less influenced by other people's ways of thinking or doing things, someone who's trying to cut off your friends, your family, keeping you isolated and unable to access information that might help you see through these tactics. Usually, most often, social abuse is combined with a pattern and a system of abusive behaviors that would also go along with emotional, verbal, financial, psychological, spiritual abuse, and sometimes also physical or sexual abuse. It's a conglomerate most times, but these are social aspects of domestic violence that are often early signs that something is going in the wrong direction, and it's going to be very, very wrong. Thank you for watching this with me. This is part, like I said at the beginning, it's part of the whole playlist, the series on systems of abuse. And I have resources for books, book lists, recommended book reading, links to those, links to the Systems of Abuse guidebook, and other free resources. As well as, if you find yourself in a situation like this, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is listed right here in the description of this video. That's super important. Keep that resource. And as always, drop me a comment, send me a message, and if you loved this, please share it, pass it on to someone else, or repost it, and have a really awesome day. Stay safe.